Stream. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Gibson, and I am your host on Socialization of Abuse. I'm also the creator of Norm Therapy. It's our revolutionary service that we provide victims of abuse and survivors of abuse worldwide. We're on every continent. We have Norm therapists trained by our own hands in cadre. And we're having one of our cadre come on tonight with us. His name is Juan Collazo. I will be introducing to Juan here in a couple of seconds, but he has a very interesting story. I like Juan from the very first moment that I met him. He has a very deep and caring personality, kind of on the wild side, but it's the kind of wildness in a human that you look for to kind of carry you through the tough times. He has a great spirit. His heart is always seemingly in the right place. He enjoys people. He really does. He enjoys the people. He's a very effective norm therapist as well. He went through norm therapy training as one of the first few men ever to go through the course. I think he was like number 2 or 3 to have gone through the course. Just a great story. He's had some great pains in his life and some great triumphs, and he's currently triumphing many things right now. His personality is one I think you'll get along with, and you'll understand why as you get to meet and get to know him. Also, if you'd like to become a norm therapist, go to our website, normtherapy.com, and check the boxes and get signed up. This summer, we'll be starting a new cohort. And so we're going to make sure the class is quite full before we do. So you may want to get your slot in there as soon as possible. And if you need norm therapy services or help, don't forget to reach out to us on our websites at goaro.org, GOARO.org, and normtherapy.com, normtherapy.com. Without any further ado, I'd like to bring in Juan Collazo and have him speak with us tonight. Juan, are you there? Hey, Juan, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How everybody? Hi to everyone. I'm doing great.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while, so this is good. Can you tell the world a little bit about you?
About who? About me?
Of course, the man of the hour.
Okay. Well, my name is Juan Collazo. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm 34 years old. I'm living in Florida, in Plant City, actually. We bought a house here. My stepfather did, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm currently a mental health counselor master student, master degree student.
Wonderful. So, you know, well, it's obvious that you're in a wheelchair, or yes. What's the best way to, is it called a wheelchair when it's as mobile and as high tech as that? Is it the same thing? Because it looks very high tech.
It is. It was funny because I had a friend of mine who used to call me Wheels when I was going to college. It was something else. I was like Wheels. But yeah, it is. It was funny how I took it. And yes, I'm in a wheelchair. I'll be wheelchair bound. I've been in a wheelchair for 17 years.
So when you were a teenager, you were, did you undergo an accident, or was it
Yes.
or something? What happened?
A cliff diving accident when I was 16.
Cliff diving. Wow. Okay. Now I know this already, but you know, it didn't click in my brain that it was cliff diving. So tell us what happened.
Well, when I was 16, my mom, first, I was okay walking and everything. My mom tried to get me out of Puerto Rico because I lived in a rough neighborhood and I didn't have good friends. Sometimes there were drug dealing. Sometimes, I wasn't doing all of that, but in my hood, there was a lot of
the influence was there.
Yeah, the influence was there. So my mom got me out of Puerto Rico and I was here in Florida with my uncle. But my disobedience taught me to be, I was very respectful and whatnot, and I ended up back in Puerto Rico. And I remember that day like it was today. my mom and I, we went to a school for juveniles that she wanted me to go to, and I
Mm-hmm.
was getting my license, and when I was at home, when I went back from that doing that, I told her that I was going to a river. But then she told me, don't go. Don't go to the river, stay with me. Don't go, don't go there because that river is no good. And I
The
told her, look,
river.
mom, hey, I'm not going to the river. Instead, I'm going to look for my stolen bike. And because that's how it is in the hood. They take whatever they want. So I went into the hood and I managed to find my bike. And when I did that, instead of going back home, I went to the stables because in the hood we have horse stables and everything. Puerto Rico's
Mhm.
crazy. You have
I've
cows,
been to
you
Puerto
have
Rico
horses.
many times. I've been there. Ponce,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
San
Ponce,
Juan.
yeah.
Yeah. Been.
So when I got there, I saw a friend of mine and I told him, hey, didn't we say that we were going to a river today? And he said, yeah, you told me about it. And I said, well, let's go. And I totally forgot what my mom told me. Instead, I went with him to the river. And I remember that on my way there, everything felt weird. Like the whole environment was weird. Weird, like your hair sticking up and things like that. Like, I don't know what's going on. Eventually, I got there and he jumped first. I took my clothes off and everything, and I jumped second. And when I jumped, I literally broke my neck when I hit the water. I hit the bottom of it and I broke my neck. I could not break the fall. And that's when I ended up paraplegic. But my story doesn't end there because the crazy thing happens next. While I'm on the water, I remember that all of a sudden I felt like finger snappings in my head, like something snapped their fingers, like when somebody telling you to hurry it up. That's what I felt in my head.
Yes.
At that moment, there you go, just like that, in my
Mhm.
head, the snapping. And when I realized I was dying, I started praying, and this is, I guess my Christianity, my religious, my spirituality, gave
Mhm.
me a chance to pray. And I did, I prayed. And I remember that when I finished praying, I went into a sleep, to a slumber, and I literally died that moment. I literally died. Don't question ask. I died. And then I found myself in a dark place. And I was standing there, dressed in white. And I was standing there for a while. Eventually a light came on. And then craziest thing happened. Just like I went there, I came back. And I opened my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, I saw my friends that they got me out of the water and were doing CPR on me. And
Mhm.
they brought me back, but I had that experience. That's what is called near death experience. When you're out of your body, or when you die and come back. And
Indeed.
from that moment
Indeed.
on, my life changed.
Well, I have some experience in that. But tonight's about you. But one of these days we'll talk about it. Um, Let me ask you a question. What do you regret most about that day?
Not listening to my mother, not paying attention more to her, and to her to her advice, because she always wanted the best of me and my grandpa parents too. That's what I regret.
Do you feel like you failed them or something?
To a point, yes, because they wanted me to go to school, they wanted me to be educated, which I've done it from this point, from a worship point. But I wish I was walking, because I would use what I learned now, my bachelor's degree, for example, to do more than what I've done. But I've done enough. I feel that, if I were to live today, I think I feel good that I've
Hmm.
done a lot, because people in my situation, a lot of times they don't do much, and yet I've tried, my best to go to school, volunteer, work, things like that.
Now you have to have dealt with a lot of different specialists and medical personnel and institutions over the years to further your development and
Yes.
where you are today with your paraplegic status. Tell me something. How were you treated in some of these facilities? Good, bad,
But
indifferent? How? Tell us.
different. When it comes down to facilities where they deal with people like me, for instance, the Shrine Hospital, which is one of the best hospitals in the world, for individuals like myself,
Mhm.
great. But I've been to hospitals where I have to fight with the nurses to get bathed.
To get a
Simple,
bath,
something
to get a bath, you
like
have to
that,
fight.
yeah. Fight with them. You have to fight with them for many things. To be feeding, you know. Sometimes they leave your food there and it goes cold, you know, and so it's been a little battle there. You know, there's always, you know, the system is there. It's not perfect, but it's there. But
Is
you have to
calling you
fight.
is calling you disabled an insult, or what should I say?
Well, me being disabled is something that I gotta be realistic about because it's what I got now to deal with.
Yeah, I'm
So
just
I don't.
speaking of what's the right protocol? What's the naming convention? Because I know it used to be disabled and they changed it to something, and I'm not
No,
absolutely sure what it is.
no, I'd like to be treated normally,
I'm
like
sorry?
if I wasn't disabled. I like to be treated normally as if I wasn't. Like I don't like to be treated with not care, but with like a special treatment. So
Well,
I'm
I was
pretty much
thinking more of the genre of class that I'm trying to
no,
define.
it's flat. It's out of my mind too. I thought it was just
Or
disabled from
physically impaired, physically impaired. I think
physically
I've heard
impaired.
that,
Yes,
I've heard that as well.
mhm.
Well, we're in that state, you depend on people to do just about everything for you. So
Mhm.
you're in these institutions over the years, and sometimes you weren't treated well. How did you survive that?
Sometimes you have to ask for the manager. Sometimes you have to ask for a higher power, you know, for the manager to come in, talk to them, let them know. Because some of these institutions that I've been to, some of hospitals that I've been to, not all of them are prepared to deal with people that are paraplegic. We depend on certain care, like more
Mhm.
specific than others. So not everybody knows how to, you know, take care of a paraplegic person. So that's something that I have to educate them, you know, like I
Mhm.
need this, I need that. And, you know, I'm an advocate. I had to learn to advocate for myself, you know.
So tell me something. When people first meet you, Juan, I know when I first met you, I say I look beyond most things most other
Mhm.
people look for. I try to look beyond that. But I did notice, of course, that you were physically impaired. And I wanted to know your story. That was my first inclination. My first thought was, what is this guy's story? And then you signed up for norm therapy, and also you're a master's student in getting your counseling degree as well. So why counseling? Why norm therapy? Why? But let's start with counseling first. Why counseling?
Counseling, because I wanted to use my situation to motivate other people to change and to move on. For instance, I've been to the juvenile detention center because, like I said, I was a juvenile once, and and I broke the law a couple of times. I never got caught, but I've done it. So I
Oh yeah.
wanted to use my situation to change lives. And my aunt told me, Tony, why you don't study psychology? And I started studying psychology and human behavior. And I also learned a lot about myself and my behavior, on why I used to do things. And that's why I ended up doing psychology. And then I now with my master, because I was not being successful in finding work with just my bachelor's degree. Now it's required you to have a master level degree, plus you have to do 2,000 hours of supervision care, supervised work
Mhm.
to get your license as a mental health counselor. So not you cannot do it with a bachelor's only.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I mean,
That's what I
that's
said.
good. Wh-
And
yeah,
now,
So when are you finished with your master's? When will you finish?
in about 2 more years.
2 more years. Okay.
Hey, it takes time.
Oh, of course it does. I mean, that's why they call it masters. It's not like secondary, it's masters. And that's a good thing. Here, let me ask you, when it comes to your outlook on life, how do you remain so positive? Because every time I've ever spoken with you, you've had a great outlook on just about everything. How do you remain so positive?
I remain positive sometimes by looking at other people, circumstances, and understanding that I'm not the only one that's going through this, and that sometimes people, even when they walk, sometimes they don't do what I do, or they don't go through what I go through, and yet some of them, I said, I have to think about it. Like some people have what I don't have, and yet they don't use it. So
That
I
is
gotta
that's very true.
that's why I gotta keep up with it. So I wanted to continue forward and to help others, and that's why I'm always in the move, like I say, trying to find ways to do it. And that's why norm therapy was there for me. And it has a different perspective when it comes down to therapy. What I like about norm therapy is that, similarly to some theories that I've studied, is something that empowers people to change themselves. Because we cannot, a counselor tries to influence you, try to get you to change your behavior through different theories. That's how it works. You have to employ a theory, whatever theory there is, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or any other kind of therapy to change
Mhm.
behavior. But non-therapy, what it does is empower people to
Yes.
change, to
Most people
get to
have,
clarity.
right, and you're absolutely correct, Juan. I mean, most people don't really have the courage to make the kinds of changes they need to make in their lives. And even when they muster the courage to make those changes, they don't normally know how to articulate those changes. I think that's where most people fail in life and fail at what they're trying to do. I think when you came into the course, there's nothing about you that was shy and or cowardly. So you knew what you were expecting in norm therapy, and how did you come to know about norm therapy?
I was online looking for work, and I was going through my emails and going and applying here, applying there. And that's when I found out, I think it was through Indeed, that I found home therapy and I applied. And then they explained to me what was the position, what was expected of me, that it was going to be a volunteer position. And I said, you know what, let me try it, you never know. I told my mom about it, and see, that's another thing that about my mom and me is that she tries to get me to be involved, always be involved in things, like go to church, meet people, go out, always try to get me involved, because that way you keep your wits and you keep your clear mind and you keep moving forward. But if
You
you
don't
don't,
let lethargy, yeah,
yeah.
you don't let lethargy set in. I listen, brother. You're the epitome of an individual who keeps it moving forward. I've watched you just remain in a forward moving motion all the time. That must be exhausting to you sometimes, but it seems to be worth it.
It is, but it's that's the energy that I have to move forward. Like without it, I won't be here. And it's why I'm doing this. I want to continue to impact others.
Can you tell for the audience, because this is one of the questions I even have, the mouthpiece that you're using from time to time, is that
Joystick, my stick.
called a joystick?
No, not a joystick. It's called a mouse stick.
A mouse
Mouse
stick.
stick.
Okay.
Yeah, I use it to type. I use it to write my papers. I use it to play games. It's something that goes in my mouth,
And then you
and
just
I can
work.
type.
Got it.
It's
Okay.
like, imagine using one finger,
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. So
just one finger.
do you have one, do you have movement of one finger at all?
No, I mean the joystick, the
Jo
mouse stick is like having just one finger,
Got
because you
it.
can only click once at a time, once at a time. But it's what get me going too,
You know,
and that's another thing.
I saw something. There's somebody I know, Kelly Dean, the executive director of the company, global executive director. She can type doing this, just swishing her finger, swishing it across the keyboard. Now, I know it exists. I have not tried it, but is that something, if you had the right kind of pad, that you could use that device to swish
Yeah,
it?
at the beginning it was a little difficult, but then my neck got stronger, and then I
Ah,
started moving my neck more, because that's what I use. I have to use my neck to move left and right, then click on the board little by little, but it's okay.
wow, wow. So the C5 vertebrae and the C4
Yeah,
are destroyed, in other words.
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Is there any
That's
kind
why.
of operation? I'm sorry?
Now, I don't know if you heard, but even Elon Musk,
Yeah,
now
I
they're
know.
trying to put some with the chip, and they put it in their brains. Maybe in the future they'll do like a cable and a wireless thing where they can move your signals from your brain down the path that is broken in your neck. So very
Circumnavigate.
circumnavigate. There you go. And
You and
that's
I were the
all.
one that had this conversation in the training, remember?
Yeah,
We talked about
yeah.
Elon.
They're trying that. They're trying that.
Well, I'm
So who
glad.
knows? Yeah, who knows? I mean, it is what it is. Technology is coming fast.
So if you had mobility again, where you could have access to your digits and your extremities, tell me, what would you do different?
Oh, everything would be different. I would still go to church. I would still, be strong in my faith. I would still try to get back to the juvenile detention center. But the things is different because of COVID. COVID changed everything. Now you can go in there. I had to stop going there. I had to stop going to the hospital too because again, COVID changed everything.
It did.
But I would love to get back to that mentoring and continue with Vero if I could. If I'm good, continue here, using myself as an instrument of change. Let people know that our time here is not it's not gonna be forever, but that we can change lives.
In your norm therapy graduating class, I remember you being the best interviewer, correct?
Yes, sir. They consider me the best interviewer. I guess, I don't know. I like, now that I'm like this. Before I was always quick, but now that I'm like this, I take my time. I like to listen. I like to think and go through my thoughts, and talk and get the feeling of people. I guess I can do that more now. I'm more reliable now than before.
Right.
Before I was always quick and
You know, you
my.
were on top of everyone's list in your cohort as the best
Yeah.
interviewer. I mean, the person you work with. I think you even helped her a great deal
Yeah.
as your patient. But now you're a graduate. You finished your probationary period, and we should start having a lot of work come your way here this summer, where you're going to be working full time,
Mhm.
if you can. Is it a set schedule for your physical be activity? I mean, can you do an 8 hour job or a 16 hour long day? Is that
I've done 8 hours jobs before, but the thing is that it's crazy because, like I said, I mean, go back to COVID. Because when I was laid off during COVID. But I was working. I took I took a desk to my job, and
Mhm.
they made a computer and with keyboard and everything, and they prepared the whole thing. Like I'm in my computer almost all day long. So what I can do at work, I can do it at home too. I have my desk, I can type and write, and I can do all of that. If I can do it all day long and just entertaining myself, I can definitely work. And
What
and
kind
that's
of
why I
cases?
like.
I'm sorry, I wanna, with that thought in mind, I want to know what kind of cases do you gravitate towards that you think you'd like to challenge and manage in the future as you become counselor and more active in norm therapy? What kinds of scenarios are most interest you?
I'm looking to deal with people. Maybe they don't have to be the same. They don't have to be in the same boat that I am. But I'm looking for people that are not having that are have a pessimist view, pessimistic view.
Yeah.
That they think that their life is over, that there's not much they can do to change or to move forward. Like those are the people that I would like them to. I would like them to see myself and see that I can do all these things. That way
Hmm.
they can do more than what I can do. Motivate them.
You'll be from which to emulate.
Exactly. Moving forward and helping it. You
That's,
know, life,
and I like
life
that
is
about
not.
you.
Yeah,
I like that about you.
yeah.
I really do.
Life is not the end. Life, we gotta be here until it's our time. So.
Can I tell you what I believe, and you tell me if I'm right
Yeah.
or wrong? Uh, I believe that probably the disabled or physically impaired community is one of the most abused communities on the planet, I would think, because there's no one
Yes,
to literally
because
stand up for that community.
big, exactly. Sometimes my mom, when I used to have nurses, because the reason I don't have nurses anymore is because they would come at home and then they would leave, they would come back. They had a hard time like working physically, and because they have to move me back and forth, do a lot of things. But my mom would leave a camera on me, like we have cameras. I mean, because she
Mhm.
won't trust nobody. But my work is enough. But face it, a lot of disabled, they cannot talk like I can talk. They don't see. They don't. You know what I mean? They can't
Yes, yes, I
defend
understand.
themselves at all. And you're right. You're right. I believe you. I've seen it in TV, the older community too. I've seen elderly abuse, but I was scared to speak up because I was at their mercy. Like I said, at one time I was in a nursing home because I had ulcers in my back, and they removed me from my house because I didn't want to turn over, and my mom was having a hard time. And during I remember that this person grabbed this elderly man and he pulled him by the feet from the floor because he fell. But I was so scared when I saw that. But I never say anything against him because I was at his mercy too.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
said, oh, I didn't saw anything. But I've seen it.
Well,
I
if he was that
experienced it.
brazen to do it right in front of you, he didn't care if you saw it or not, obviously. He just
Mhm.
wanted to let you know who was king.
Exactly. And I was at his mercy, like I said. So I didn't say nothing, but it was abuse.
Absolutely abuse. So what are some of the craziest things you've seen other than that? I mean, you've seen people physically abused, I'm sure, but what about mentally and socially abused within the abuse, within the spectrum of abuse in the impaired, physically impaired?
Well, with myself, sometimes people, in my case, sometimes people say nasty things, online, or on Facebook, or some people blur out whatever they think, and sometimes it's not nice. Some people, they have no empathy, or they don't have I've seen pictures of people making fun of babies that are physically impaired, that have problems. I mean, why you even do that? So it's kind of hard to
Well,
understand why.
lack of knowledge is normally the reason why people do stupid things and say stupid things. Normally it's lack of knowledge. And then it could also be, um, because a lot of people are just not built well. And and
Yeah,
some people are
yeah.
just plain old evil. Some people are narcissists, some are sociopaths, some have very little empathy, as you said, for other
Mhm.
people, and they have more
Exactly.
apathy than empathy. It's a great imbalance. You see it a lot more. It's a lot more prevalent in today's society because everything is so open and everybody feel that their feelings are number one more than anything else, their own feelings and not regarding the feelings of others.
Yeah.
It bugs me to see somebody in a strange situation, maybe impaired or maybe in a very limited situation, and other people laugh at them or point the finger.
Mhm.
Why do you think they do that in society? You've had time to study that, I'm
I
sure.
think
Why do you think
that
people?
I think some people don't have self-esteem. Some people will take it on others because of their self-esteem. Some
Their
people,
own lowliness, their own
yeah,
lowliness.
they're lonely and makes them be nasty and and it's spiteful too. I guess some people, they're just wanting to grab attention to make a couple more followers. The more followers you have, now everybody wants to be an influencer.
Speaking from online,
Yeah, everybody wants to be an influencer now, which
people
is
want to be
crazy.
an influencer mostly for what? For like fame and
Fame,
self-gratification,
that's self-gratification. There you go.
but not to
I guess
hurt, but not to help anybody. Just so they
exactly
can
just
feel okay.
just so that they can feel better.
So what do
And
you do for hobbies?
like we said, so empowerment.
Yes, empowerment is everything. It truly is. So what do you do for hobbies?
I play games. I read.
Really?
I like to read mangas. I was exposed to anime, Japanese anime when I
Yes,
was
I know it. I'm not
16.
that familiar with mangas and all of
Yeah,
that, but
but
absolutely anime, yes.
I was exposed to it when I was 16. My brother exposed me to it. And ever since I've been hooked up on it. Like I like to read it, I like to watch it. I love Netflix. I love finding
They
shows
have
there.
they have these caricatures that I really like. They
Yeah,
really
yeah,
create these overexposed, if you will,
yeah,
characters.
yeah.
And
Crazy, crazy. So yeah, I see that. I like to read my Bible every now and then. I guess that's just me and the experience that I had that causes me to do that.
How's your faith?
Huh?
How's your faith?
Good. I believe it's good. I go to church some Sundays, sometimes, which also helps as a to elevate, some of my symptoms because you go out, you get to see people, you get, my depression. Because even though I'm like this, it doesn't mean that I don't go through depression. Right now, I'm getting medication for it, which I believe sometime before it wasn't helpful much, but now it's manageable. But I do go through depression phases and all of that.
So when you're all by yourself, and I'm thinking you're by yourself most of the time. You said you sit on a computer most of the day. Do you have a select group of friends that you've met over the years that you are really close to?
Yes, but the funny thing is that when I used to walk, my mother always tell me, and I didn't apply this. My mom always tell me that family goes first, and I didn't apply that much. Now that I'm in a wheelchair, when I got hurt, everybody left. No friend of mine stayed. They all left. Everybody just continued moving forward in life. But you know who stayed? My family, my brother, my sister. And every time in there, for instance, this past month, we went and watched King Kong. King Kong came out.
Yeah, the new
I went with
movie.
my brother. I went with my brother and his wife, and we watched the movie. So now I guess I have more a relationship with my brother and sister and mom than before. Like we managed to live and move forward in life like that, all together. Because everybody leaves.
How do you
That's
think?
just
I'm sorry.
fact.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's a lag in communication, so I apologize if I'm speaking over you. Uh, how, what do you think you can do for the abuse care community? What impact do you think you'll make?
Well, I'm hopeful that people see me in this situation and that they can find some empowerment in themselves to move forward.
So you
Because
know
life,
that you're in a
like I
devastating
said, life
circumstance.
ain't easy. Yeah, life ain't easy. I go through my ups and downs just like everybody else. And we all go through them. So I just trying to see if I can become like a beacon of hope for others.
I don't
That's
have pity for you. I
oh,
really have no
exactly.
pity for you at all. None. I actually
No,
admire who you are.
no, and that's how life is. We shouldn't have pity, but we should have love and empathic. Be empathic. You know what I'm saying?
Empathetic,
Because
yes.
that's what helps us move forward. Without it, we're not gonna be able to do anything. Not for ourselves, not for others. Like I said, people do hateful things because they just want to feel empowered. But we're not like that. And I enjoy it now. You know the crazy thing?
What was
Based
that?
on the history of psychology, it was men that was before it was Freud and these big thinkers that were the pioneers of psychology. But now it's females. Females are the breaking the ceilings. And now I saw that in Arrow too. It's females that keep us
Oh
going.
my God. Oh my
They
God.
are the leaders, and I'm like, and I see that I'm like, and I see that it also in school. My professors are females. They're doctors, and I see that, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy how things change, and
Yeah,
it changed for the better.
it's balancing out. I mean, it really is. There
Oh
was a time
yeah,
when women, I remember growing up, women didn't have much of any opportunity. Now they kind of paved the road and the way for many other women, as well as men. Is also they're teaching men and helping men as well. But
and
men have,
it's like
go ahead.
go ahead. It's like they say they have a sixth sense. Some females are better; they're more inclined to helping and be also like listeners, and they're more inclined to help, than even
Yeah.
some males. Males sometimes you have to be tough. You cannot cry.
Poke your chest out. Be somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble. Uh, what about a girlfriend? Who's your girlfriend?
You know, ever since I got hurt, things changed too. And I used to try to make me find that, but eventually I just stopped because it's not, some, I guess, I don't know. Some people look at it physically, some people are more lovable than others. But when it comes to females, like that, I just hang up the gloves and I say, I gotta love myself first. that I put myself first. And if in the future I find that, that'll be nice, you know. But I've seen all the people that are disabled that got their girlfriends and spouses and everything. And so I'm
Really?
not gonna say no. Yeah, I seen it. I seen it in YouTube. I seen it in personally. I seen it. I've seen people that got hurt and their spouse stayed with them, you know, even through their ups and downs. So I've seen that. I've seen it. It's possible. You never know.
So tell us about this technology you've been studying with about Elon Musk. So he has a way to reroute the technology throughout your body from the brain down to the lower and outer
Yeah.
extremities and give you.
What I know now, in regards to my injury, is that the spine, where the head is, the spine, the back of our neck, is like a tree, and it has different hairs, and it goes all over your body, right? It just spread itself like a
Mhm,
tree, like with the roots. So when I got hurt the C5 and C4, and that's where it cuts off. Some
mhm.
people are paraplegic because they're cut off more on the T's, down further. So the
Okay.
down further, the less trauma they'll have, they'll be able to move their hands and do things. So now they're trying to, like you said, circumvent that signal and send it to the part where it's not being processed, so that I can then move my arms, my legs. I'm hopeful. Look, if I can move at least one arm, I'll be happy, you know, because you can do a lot with one arm. If I can do a
Well,
lot with a stick, imagine with an arm, you know. So I gotta be realistic, you know.
I
In
love
my
your attitude. I love your
Yeah,
attitude. You said,
in
with one arm, I
my
can get something done.
I
Love it.
know, just with one arm you can do a lot. So Elon Musk, and also I think I read a paper on Germany. I don't know why, but in Europe and other countries, they're willing to do it. You know, a lot of people don't go to the risk here in the States because it's risky. But over there in
FDA
Europe,
and approvals and
yeah,
all that.
yeah, the rules and the regulations, you could die. You know what I mean? So over there
I
in
love the
Europe,
medical system in Europe. I really do. I've lived in
yeah.
Europe for a while, so Germany as well. I lived in Karlsruhe, Heidelberg, and Frankfurt. So I know
Mhm.
Germany very well, and it's a very uh, I guess tremendous. It's a great proving ground for theories and machinery and new technology from around the world. It'll be a great place. So they have a certain kind of therapy, mechanical therapy or something as well.
Yeah, they have surgery similar to what Elon Musk wants to do.
Hmm.
There's also, I forgot to mention you, there's also stem cells research that they're trying to,
Yes.
inject stem cells.
So, yeah, and I understand that causes new growth of nerves as well as
Exactly.
reparations, a lot of repairs. Why do you think they're
Mhm.
not allowing stem cells to flourish? Because I know a lot of countries are doing, including the Middle East, Asia,
I guess
Europe.
because stem cells, I guess they come from, I don't know if I'm misspoken, but, or if not, I have it right, but I think they come from the fetus or something like that,
You know,
from
they come
baby,
from the umbilical cord.
or the umbilical cord.
The
So
umbilical
yeah.
cord. Yeah.
Imagine that. I mean, so you have to take something from from. So I guess it's more ethical. It's a more ethical dilemma than, now you have to take that from a female that's giving birth. So
Well,
I don't know how that would work.
what I've learned is I don't think it's that. I think that's part of it. But I think it's perhaps the fact that they think that people are playing God because they get to make a whole
Mhm.
person out of stem cells. And I think
Mhm.
that is what has been troubling in the West for the further
Yeah,
development
we
and
have a lot of conservatism here. A
yeah, we have
lot
a
of.
great deal of conservatism, and it's at the cost of many lives. Many people die every year in the United States,
Oh,
especially because of religious and or conservatism.
no,
Uh,
I believe it because in Puerto Rico they have something called a Atalaya or Jehovah Witness. They don't like
mhm,
do blood transfusions. So I
mhm.
think some religions are like that. They don't do blood transfusion. Now imagine that you need a blood transfusion and they're saying no. So yeah, you're right when a lot of people die because of it.
Yeah, they just do. I mean, and there are even people with COVID, I think you mentioned, who refuse to get vaccinated. And
Mhm.
a lot of them died. A lot during COVID died. People who refused to get vaccinated. And it seemed like the loudest people about that, who had the biggest voice, they seemed to, for the most part, survive COVID without the vaccine. So there's a lot to be said and researched in both of those, in all of those areas, to be exact. What's your favorite food, Juan?
I have to say Chinese food. I love
Really?
Chinese. I
What
don't know
about
why.
Chinese food do you like?
Oh man, I love that pepper steak and onions. Oh man, that's so you're gonna make me hungry now. But yeah, I love that.
The pepper
And
steak is good.
especially the Puerto Rican Chinese. I don't know why. I know that Chinese are Chinese everywhere because that's what they are. But I don't know why. But the ones from Puerto Rico, I guess they cook with our spices. And oh man, that's so good. You should taste that if you
I
ever
tell
go
you,
there.
Chinese have the most, they have the largest satellite community in the world. I mean, they
I
have
know, right? They're
Chinatowns
everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Right.
in China, I never found, while I was in China, I never found anywhere to eat that kind of mirrored the food of that I get in Europe or the United States or Africa that's called Chinese food. I think they just make it for foreigners and stuff to give us. They have much in China, they have a very fresh outlook on food. Everything is like cooked that day for the most part, and very fresh and very nurturing. But I was in a restaurant, and a friend of mine that was associated with me, him and I were doing some business. He um he ordered pepper chicken, pepper chicken. Now that you mentioned pepper steak, pepper chicken, and they literally brought him out like a pot with a whole chicken in it, boiled in pepper sauce, literally. And I
I
sat there. Oh my God, it was terrible. He took one sip of it. His lips started to swell up. His face got red. It was the hottest thing I had ever seen anybody eat
I
on TV.
know.
Dude, it was so hot. And but that was, I just couldn't find what Chinese food was. Now, Hong Kong is different. You can find a lot of different cuisines in Hong Kong. But China was an interesting place. But okay, let's go back to something. I love talking about food. I love talking about travel. Do you get to travel much?
I've done. I've been to Puerto Rico on 26/16. I went to Rhode Island, and from Rhode Island we rented a van and we went to the Niagara Falls. And oh
Wow.
man, I tell you, that was like life altering. Those falls are something else. That's huge, big,
Did
and the water.
you say archipelagos? What did you say you
No,
went?
Niagara Falls, Niagara Falls, the
Okay.
falls.
You enjoyed yourself.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we're mom, so we do a lot of that.
Now, I'm assuming that your parents, your mom and you say your stepdad, you said?
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming were they work with you a lot in keeping you basically mobile and alive?
yes,
What is
yes.
their day like?
Well, my mom, she bakes me, puts me in my wheelchair, depends on the day. And then once I'm in my wheelchair, I go to my station. I put my computer, I play games, I watch TV. My mom watches her own soap operas, and she does her own thing. And now we have a little one in the house, my little niece. My baby niece is here. I thank
Hmm.
God for her because she motivates me. I look at her, and she's so beautiful. But sometimes she shies away from me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I still love you. And my mom take care of her. Because my
She loves
sister,
her uncle.
oh yeah, well, even if she don't love me, the more like I love her, but I still kiss her because mom puts her by my cheek, Give your uncle a kiss. And then I
There you
go and I
go.
kiss. So
There
that's
you go.
fun. That's cool. It's always good to have a little one in the house, keep you busy. And then from that point on, I pretty much stay in my room. And then in the next, and I eat whatever, different times, different whenever I feel like eating. And then that's it. At night we go to bed, and that's one day down.
Are you in your room now? This is your room?
Yeah, this is my room. My mom closed the door because she wanted me to have privacy. with you
wonderful.
when I told
Look like you have a lot of gadgets over there and stuff. What kind of stuff you got over there?
Those are pretty much Star Wars and things like that that I like to collect. Things that toys that I like to collect from. I guess those mostly are the Star Wars figurines that my mom has gotten me over the years. I'm really big at Star Wars. I wish I was born in the 70s, man, because I still, I don't know if you remember seeing that one in theaters, Star Wars 4, 5, and 6.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, you know what
What do you call
throws
them?
me,
Trekkies? Trekkies?
huh?
They're called Trekkies, right? Star Wars people, Trekkies?
No. Trekkies are the Star Trek. Star Wars is like the
Okay,
Jedi.
forget. See, there you go. Star Trek.
The
Okay, Star
Jedi.
Trek is one, and Star Wars, you would be the stormtroopers and
There you go. There you go.
all of that. Okay,
And,
yeah,
and,
they all
and
kind of, yeah.
but you know what takes me is how they make those movies back in the day, like their CGI and all of that.
George
That's
Lucas,
oh yeah,
yeah,
impressive. It's impressive.
such a
So that's
pioneer.
yeah, that's what it is. Star Wars figurines.
Yeah, I never had, I was in the military during a lot of that, so I never had a chance to delve into the franchise and become a part of it. But it's fun. It looks like it's fun. Don't you guys have like a Comic-Con or something like that? A Comic-Con
Yeah,
where you,
when I go to Comic Con here in Florida in Tampa every now and again. When they come out for the Comic Con, I go there. It's kind of fun, it's cool. Everybody dressed up. You see a bunch of Spider-Mans and people are crazy when it comes to Spider-Man and a lot of the movies. So it's funny to see them like that. I always joked around, I always joked around too, with that. But it's cool.
where's your heart? Where's your heart? If you had to name one thing, that makes you passionate and want to just see everything through, where would your heart orient you to?
My heart, again, like I said, I'm always like optimistic because of again my faith, that near death experience, that I realized that there's life after, that life is not it's not gonna be the end for us, I believe. I believe that. I definitely believe that. So I guess that's what my heart would be, to not turn not turn away from that, There's always something else. But
Good.
my heart is that, I'm going through a little pain because I just recently, about a week ago, I lost my uncle.
I'm sorry
And
to
he
hear.
was he was a great person. He always was. He was my godfather, and he
Okay.
always had a good things to say, and he always motivated me. When I used to walk, he was always telling me, trying to get me to good things, and always got a good advice. So, and now he's not here anymore. So I'll remember that. You
How
know
did
what
he
I mean?
die? If you don't mind my
He
asking.
cancer.
Sorry to hear.
Cancer is something that is being around. I mean, who knows before it was discovered how many people die of it. But now that it has been discovered, hundreds of people die of it every year. And in my family, I've lost a couple to it.
Well, let me ask you, we always get questions that come in to us from audiences and different crowds. Tell me something, if I can ask you a few questions, if it's okay with you. You mind answering these?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the most important part of your routine that keeps you motivated and optimistic?
I hate being in my bed. I hate it because I can't do anything. When you're in your bed, you're quiet, there's nothing for you to do. So every day I look forward to being in my wheelchair because I get to move myself around a little. I get to do little
Wow.
things. I can move my arm a little bit, my right arm a little bit, so I can move my wheelchair. And then I can situate myself in my computer, which is like a door to a whole different world. Because
That
through my
mobility.
computer, I get to talk to you, I get to talk to people, I get to meet people, I get to socialize. Because that's another thing is that my stepfather, he works. My mom takes care of me. So the only way I can socialize here in Plant City is through my computer, unless I go to church and do things like that. So that I look forward to being in my wheelchair. What is the next question?
Wow. Okay, that's an amazing answer. Thank you. What is something that you think is important to know about your condition that most people misunderstand?
Something that you have to be careful when it comes to your condition is called dyslexia. It's a something that happens when, for instance, when you cannot pass urine or you cannot know, you don't know what you're, if it's a bowel movement or what. It's something that can kill you. It's something
Is it
that
like
will,
atrophy? Is it a form of
no,
atrophy?
no, it's just something that your body reacts, and then your heart rate goes up, and you can end up with a stroke. So if a lot of people don't know about it, it's always good to let them know. So
Wow,
that's something important to know of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question for you. Uh, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Wow, in 10 years. I don't want to, in 10 years, I see myself, well, maybe either as an art therapist or as a therapist or doing both, because you never know, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't want to put myself in a situation where you limit yourself. You want to expand. So I see myself as a therapist because I'm about to graduate in about 3 years. So I see myself working towards that, towards maybe becoming maybe being already a therapist. By that time, yeah, I'll be that's how I see myself.
Wonderful. I like that. If you could provide education to those who would like to be better advocates for those with disabilities, what guidance would you offer?
Mm. Don't look down upon them because not because we are disabled, it means that we are less. Something that sometimes uh, hurt me was like I told you before, is that sometimes when you're looking for work, some people have looked down upon me. But I put my time, I've worked, I've volunteered, so don't look down upon us.
I like that. A couple more questions. They're coming in.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
now having completed your norm therapy training, who would be interested in who would be interested in hoping the most? Helping the most. Okay, that's right. It came
Oh,
in.
for me,
Yeah.
what
Who
right
would you be
now,
interested in helping the most?
one of the things that I was doing, they had me do was to check the mentoring program. I guess Dylan is the leader in that, and we were putting our ideas together. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm looking forward to, becoming a mentor, helping the next generation, helping them meet with them, Zoom
Yes.
with them, talk with them, do things like that. I'm looking forward to the new cohort.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. We're looking forward to have you in a lot of different roles too in the future. Um, now, let's see here. The last question we have, and then we'll talk about a couple other things before we close out. Do you feel like what happened to you has made you stronger and a greater advocate for those who are suffering?
Just because before I used to work, I was selfish. Before I used to work, I didn't thought about nobody. I only thought about myself, and I used to have a very self-centered individual personality. I was very self-centered. But once I ended up in a wheelchair, and I realized that world of disability, of people that were wheelchair bound and hurt, wow, that changed my life completely. I didn't knew that world before. Now I'm in it, you know. So yes, I definitely changed.
Okay, now I've seen this before, and I'm wondering now if you can help me with this. Driving, is that something you aspire to do one day?
No, because I have real bad spasms. So you don't want to be my driver when I drive. I have real bad spasms, uncontrollable. So I don't see myself driving now. I can
So
end up hurt.
let's say Elon Musk, he make an implant and you can use your
Or on my head with my thoughts, you never know, right? You
yeah,
never know.
okay. But then bypassing the back or bypassing some of
Yeah,
those
that'll be something else. If I can move my hands again, then definitely, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be driving.
yeah, because I've seen people with limited abilities drive, and I'm always wondering if it's how difficult that is. It seems like it would be tremendously difficult to learn to drive with just limited mobility. Are you okay?
Yeah, drinking water.
Sometimes people with your with who are quadriplegic tell me, sometimes they have problem breathing. Are you on a breathing machine?
I was at the beginning. They put a trach on me. But I thought to myself, I don't want this. I don't want to live with a trach for the rest of my life. So when I was at home one day, my cousin came by and she took it off. And then I started breathing for myself. At the beginning, it was difficult. The doctor told my mom, well, if something happens, if he passes out or something, take him to the hospital and they'll put it back again. But crazy thing is that I have a very strong persona. So I started breathing on myself. I started like doing therapy myself, breathing hard and, inhaling, exhaling. And that's how I got strong. So now I don't need that. Sometimes what you see me do is I grab my bottle of water. That's what I have here. My
Okay, I was
water.
wondering. Got it. So in the same way you can drink, you can write, you can do, okay, got it. Got it. I mean, you live a very interesting life, even though it's hard. It's obviously not easy, but you've made it look and seem doable. I
Yeah.
don't think you're comfortable being there, but when you said something a moment ago, it really put things in perspective. You said, I can't wait to get in my wheelchair. And that kind of, touched my heart because, some people never want to be in a wheelchair, but sometimes you can't wait to get to it. So that paradox is just something you can't ignore. And I'm proud of you. I really am, and great
Thank you.
admiration of you. I
I'm
think that
proud of
you really,
you.
thank you very much.
Yeah, I am because it's
Go
not
ahead.
every day that you get to meet people that are willing to put something together like Arrow to help others. Not everybody would keep at it, the way you guys have done it and your people and everything. So you're doing something good.
Well, we try, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. It's donations, everybody. Donations, donations. So if you see this video, of course. But the thing is, we try to do our best. I want to treat people like I want to be treated. And that's
Mhm.
where Kelly and I have really managed to, I think, put together a great team of people as well as a great organization because we treat people how we want to be treated, period. And that's it. And we want to provide the services they need that we would need if we were in their circumstance. And a lot of us were. A lot of us were victims of abuse and survivors. So we do understand it from that visceral connective mode. If you had something to tell the world, Juan, before I start reading my little verbatim chart, what would you tell the world?
That to me, that look forward to every day. Every day is gonna have a different obstacle, different challenge that you're gonna have to meet with, that you have to fight with, but don't give up. Always try your best and move forward.
Never give up. Never ever give up. Um, I think it's the monks that the Buddhist monks I'm thinking could be the Shaolin monks. Forgive me, but I want to make a quote. I want it to mean something. Is that you should never, never, ever give up, even if you get to the end of whatever you're doing and you didn't make it. You're still a better version of who you are now than who you were. So never give up, even if you don't make it. And I think that you embody that spirit. And I like the way you have operated. And I'm looking forward to working with you in the future, Juan. Thank you
Okay,
for being on our show. I really appreciate it. Let me read this and then we'll close out, okay?
okay,
If you've enjoyed and got something out of today's session, please show your support by, of course, sharing this video, subscribing to our channel, making a comment and liking it. Please go to GoArrow and normtherapy.com and goarrow.org and explore opportunities and seek help for yourself or for someone needing our services. If you want to become a norm therapist or if you're interested in applying to participate in our live sessions as a guest or victim or survivor, email us at contact@normtherapy.com. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again Thursday, April 25th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'll be interviewing my good friend E. Walter Smith, an international singer-songwriter, business guru, advocate for just about everything. Great guy. He was, I think, the guest speaker at your graduation, if I remember correctly, Juan. He was the guest speaker there. But
take
listen,
care, everybody.
I appreciate you. Thank you. It's good talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you around the campfire. Okay, brother? And
Okay.
have a good night.